What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Today we're going to be going over more Eric Dubay. If you guys don't remember, we've done two other parts with Eric Dubay. You can find them here on the channel. He has a video that's like 35 flat earth questions answered by a flat earther kind of thing. The source is linked down in the description. Now, we made it through most of the way, but we still have a few left. He has one thing in here where he promotes other flat earth channels. We're not going to go through that, but he does have some other things that I've done little to no research on, and so this is going to be a pretty shit stream, but I appreciate everybody that's here. Thank you, heathens, for joining tonight. But first, of course, we have Today I Learned and some comments. I really wasn't able to get those prime, pristine kind of comments tonight. So, I mean, we're going to be going with the kind of B-roll type of comments. But I hope that you guys are ready for it because they're still pretty good comments. So let's get on into the show. I know you guys aren't here to hear me rant and rave and whatnot. By the way, we have GE Heathen shirts that are still on sale, which I will actually put in the description right now, or in the live comments. Teespring.com GE-Heathen. There you go. Nice little link to get you a Heatheny t-shirt if you want to get a Heatheny t-shirt. All proceeds will go to the GE channel. But all right, so first we have Today I Learned. First, in Today I Learned, we have in the 1800s, a cult leader gave 600 acres of land to God, but the state of Pennsylvania took possession and sold it because the Almighty didn't pay his fucking taxes. I guess taxes trump any kind of fucking deity. I find this particularly funny because he tried to give it to God as a way of escaping, like, I guess, taxes or the system in general. But as we all know, God isn't so good at paying his dues, especially when it comes to child support. So, yeah, this is not surprising, but at the same time, cheers, cult leader who thought he could get around the government by, going the Kent Hovind route. GE, it's Commonwealth, not state of PA. Fuck it if I know. Kentucky's a Commonwealth. Apparently Pennsylvania's a Commonwealth. Why don't we just make all of the states Commonwealth since it's pretty much the same fucking thing? Timothy Cantier, Whiskey God here. Come meet us to have a drink soon. You both are awesome. Hey, we've been to Kentucky. Or wait, Whiskey God. I don't know where you're at there, Timothy, or we might. All right. So let's get on with the comments of the day. Prepare to face bomb yourself in the next week. Let's see. Oh my god, you squeaky. I like this because, I mean, oh my god, you squeaky. The only thing that he actually spelled out was squeaky. Otherwise, he just sent fucking just letters. I don't know. I do realize that sometimes I get a little bit high pitched in my voice, but I don't really give a fuck. Oh, I know. I already read it off. Wow, you are so dumb. And then you put read more so that people would click it, I guess. But there's nothing else to read. It's just, wow, you are so dumb. You tricked my ass, though. I clicked on it. Oh, this is applicable to tonight. Who wants to debate with Eric Dubay? I don't know how to pantomime question marks all over the fucking place, but there you go. Here is your chance. Prove him wrong. And then here's one. Here's a funny one. Anyone want to go head to head debate with Eric Dubay? I will definitely go to head-to-head in a debate with Eric Dubay. He has the worst flat earther argument, so I really don't think I'll have to do much. Of course, some people prefer the Red's rhetoric version of it, where, you know, just interrupting him and calling him an idiot and whatnot, which, I mean, not to diss Red's rhetoric, but, I mean, I prefer to ask questions and let them bury themselves in their own idiocy. Um, let's see. I think, yeah, wait, I already read this one last week. I usually try to get rid of them so I don't double do it. Here we go. Truth! Remember, the devil is a lie. He wants to teach everyone his ways to discredit the Creator, Yahweh. Allah is not God, but a false God. Trickery used by devil. Deceit. I don't think that's the way you spell deceit. Lies. The way you're being manipulated. Wrong your, and not the way that you spell the you're that he's trying to spell. The great battle. Allah and his angels waged a war against Yahweh. They were struck down from the heavens. You have fallen angels stuck on this planet. He wanted to be worshipped in Muslim worship, the black stone, and pray to the ground in killing his name. He demands a sacrifice. Allah Akbar. Marries young little girls, pedophilia, all practices of Satanism. The devil is smart. Your science is the same. Alchemy and witchcraft. Godspeed, wake up. Shippable! Sheeple! Okay, look, I have to say, this is a level of fuckery that I don't even know how to begin to deal with, because it's like a narrative written in idiot. You have fallen angels stuck on this planet. Where are those fallen angels at, and have they identified themselves? If you say that Donald Trump is a fallen angel, fucking what? That's ridiculous. Drew's book reviews, super chat. Without gravity, jets cannot take off and land. Also, speaking of jets, go Jets, go! Kick Vegas ass! Just wanted to hear you cheer for Winnipeg Jets. Thank you there, Drew. I appreciate that. Okay. I think maybe I've already read this one before, but it still gets me. I didn't believe in the flat earth until this video. I truly believe the fuck you bitch argument. Oh, yeah? The moon is made of cheese! Cheese is pretty fucking delicious. If the moon was made of cheese, I mean, I think, yeah, I think more people would go there. Maybe we could get fucking Richie from Boston to, like, you know, move or use his drone to get up there and get us some fucking cheese. I'd love me some cheese from the moon. Fat-headed, whiny sounding lazy ass, get a job. You suck at YouTube videos. I love how he had to add that you suck at YouTube videos, but also he automatically assumes that I'm a lazy ass and I need to get a job. Obviously, this guy's never edited together a video. It takes a massive amount of work in order to put one of those out. Now, granted, I mean, I think I spent about 2 hours on the video, but still, that's not lazy ass. Lazy ass is just sitting there not doing anything. Actually getting up and recording a video is the exact opposite of lazy ass. No, well, I don't know if it makes good queso or not.
Has great queso?
Who?
Torchies.
Torchies has great queso. Christmer! Yes, the F you bitch argument is the best argument. I would agree. Oh, so this guy doesn't understand the point of my video up there, which I even gave intros and outros that were in that would indicate that I wasn't agreeing with him. But he's like, I love this. I'm a fan of Dr. Jane Kim. Keep posting his videos. No, Michael, I will not keep posting his videos. The guy is an idiot. Let's see. I think maybe one more and then we'll go. Yeah. Yeah, that fuckery. That's right, Mike Lemons. I appreciate your acknowledgement of my fucking fuckery. Don't touch my fuckery. All right, so this one, and then we'll get to the actual video. Casey's laughter in the background makes these videos complete. What an awesome couple they are. Laughing together is a great key to a solid relationship.
I never saw that.
I know. This is a great comment, and I agree. Casey's laughter helps validate my shitty fucking jokes. I feel much better knowing that my shitty jokes make her laugh. Trust me. All right, so now we got to get to the actual video, which I was busy recording for another channel before this, Mr. Atheist. Everybody should look up Mr. Atheist on the YouTubes. But that also got in the way of me actually getting all of the video stuff ready. So yeah, I think that this is it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the first question here, which actually it got cut off by the thing, I didn't know. But the first question here is about time zones. He asks about time zones and basically how those are, how those make sense on a flat Earth. So he's gonna pretty much just cover time zones right here. So we'll let him cover it, and then I'll give my commentary afterwards.
Hey,
Yeah.
he says,
Ah.
tell
Fucking yeah. Any Hawaii peeps in the house? Don't use the force to stop the lava. Get the fuck out of the way. Also, I hope that you're safe and you're not getting killed by the lava. I've seen that movie Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. This shit doesn't play.
The sun is not 93 million miles away like what we have been told, but rather it is close and circling above us.
Okay. I would love to know. He's giving us fucking shots of the sun rising. The size is not changing. It is not moving away from us. It is actually literally going below the horizon. How can you say that it is just circling above us when it is literally going beneath the horizon in the videos that you show? I don't understand that.
The sun cannot be observed from every angle at all times on the Earth as it passes by.
Why would you need to observe it from every single angle at once? What the fuck are you, Nicolas Cage from Next?
So time zones are caused by its motion above us. Every 15-degree demarcation point around the circle is 1 hour, giving us different 1-hour time zones 24 times a day.
Okay, so time zones actually weren't a thing until I believe the 1800s, and that was primarily because of the railroads in America, because it was hard to keep the railroad times on schedule, and because every city had their own local time that they were working off of. And so the railroads were actually the first in standardizing like some kind of like time zone thing. Of course, prior to that, well, no, actually, I think that was in the 1900s, and then prior to that, in England, they passed a law over there about Greenwich Mean Time, for standardizing time. But in America, at least, it was the railroads and whatnot that led the way in standardizing time in the Americas. And so, I mean, I know what he's meaning here. He's meaning like just the basic traversal of the sun, through the sky during the day. And I have to say, that is a very good question to ask. But at the same time, this particular fucking map right here makes literally no goddamn sense. because the sun doesn't just disappear. If this were to be true, we should see the sun like disappearing and like still at the same level in the sky rather than going beneath the fucking horizon. It actually goes beneath the horizon line. So I don't understand how this makes sense, but like the sun being 93 million miles away and being so fucking huge is just ridiculous and out there. But this makes sense, even though it has the moon directly 180 degrees opposite of it, moving in tandem with the fucking sun. All right, so we got a couple super chats. Prince Thunderflare, don't believe your lying eyes. Oh no, it sounds like a song lyric. It's a pretty good song lyric. Let's see, not Joe Witness. I'm in another stream, but I'm here watching GE. That's awesome there, Not Ja. Thank you. Actually, Not Ja was him and Crispr were actually the ones that had me that convinced me that I needed to set up my stream earlier so that they would be notified. So I'm glad that Not Ja was notified enough so that he could watch it while he's in another stream. But yeah, so this particular model just doesn't make any kind of fucking sense to me or anyone that I would consider rational. I gotta love the impending music because the entire time you feel like, oh, is he about to drop the bass? Is that what's gonna happen? Is some kind of radical truth gonna get dropped here in a second? It's just gonna blow my mind, and then you're totally let down at the end.
Blow your mind. Except for his...
Yeah, of course. What about the moon and Mars landing? Boom, boom, ba-da-da-bum.
NASA claims to have landed 6 of their Apollo moon missions on the moon. When looked at with the skeptical eye, however, it is clearly obvious that these moon missions were faked, along with the rest of NASA's achievements. NASA has lost all the original Apollo moon landing footage and telemetry data, and no one is able to verify if any of it was even authentic.
Okay, so that's one point that I wanted to cover here, is that yes, like the original recordings were lost, but that was because of the fact that NASA re-recorded over it. They didn't keep the originals, and that was because of the funding issues. Like they didn't have enough funding to get new tapes and whatnot, so they just recorded over the old tapes. Of course, they have plenty of copies of the recording. It's just that the original recording they taped over it. So there's that, but also to the point of the NASA person saying, "Hey, we don't have this technology anymore." They mean that we don't have the technology to actually land on the moon. I mean, the lunar lander was built specifically for those missions, and you wouldn't be able to get that up to the moon now. We would have to develop a new system to land on the moon. And it's not that we can't do it, but it's a matter of funding. I mean, for how much money NASA actually gets, they don't get a whole hell of a lot to actually build those kind of things. Plus, there's not really a lot of scientific stuff that we could do on the moon. I mean, obviously, we could do like all the science fiction stuff says and like set up some kind of moon fucking base if we wanted to. But still, that requires like funding and a reason to be there. So... there's multiple reasons why we can't get to the moon now, and none of them are because of a conspiracy, whatever.
Many of the pictures have Earth copied and pasted into the backgrounds, and the shadows are pointing in different directions, proving that there was more than one light source.
This is not proof that there's more than one light source. I mean, it was literally just the sun behind them. This is literally not any kind of proof of anything. He's making something out of nothing.
The sun should be the only light source on the moon, so all the shadows should be in the same direction, yet they are not.
Well, but I mean they are. I mean, of course, the moon is going to be closer to the sun than the Earth is. So, I mean, you could expect the sun rays to hit it a little differently. But, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, he's making something out of nothing.
When looking at pictures of Mars, The hills of the Martian landscape look oddly similar and almost exactly like hills in Arizona, Australia, Egypt, or even Ireland. If you remove the red tint in the images that's been added from Photoshop, you'll notice that Mars looks exactly like Earth.
Well, I mean, yeah, Mars is going to look very similar to Earth. I mean, I think that it's been said that, like, just with different conditions, I mean, Mars could have been, a similar environment to Earth, like millions of years ago or whatever. But I find it funny that he automatically goes to, if you remove the red tint filter put there by Photoshop. I mean, obviously you can manipulate it. Like, you could manipulate like pictures of the Earth and make it look like Mars if you wanted to. Him saying, "Oh, if you manipulate this picture to make it look like Earth, then boom, it looks like Earth. Therefore, it's fucking on Earth." That's not proof that it was actually shot on Earth or anything like that.
Some of the Mars rover pictures are just computer-generated animations, while the videos are all filmed here on Earth.
I like how he just blatantly says this, but he's got no evidence to back it up other than him removing some color from a particular photo and making it look like an Earth kind of setting when it wasn't. What about seeing the curve from an airplane window? Why does he take so long for the... Anyways.
The only time we ever see curvature is from NASA's fake CGI images or fisheye lenses on GoPro cameras. Many who claim to have seen the curve from an airplane window have to consider the curved glass and the fact that the horizon rises to the eye level of the observer.
Okay, so I've seen this little animation right here being used across a few flat Earth things. And I get that they want to hold on to this whole idea of it. But the fact is that the proportion on the left is vastly different than the proportion on the right. If you had a correctly proportioned, like, spherical object that had a person that was proportionally the same height as a human and had it going up like it was in a balloon or whatnot, the right side is exactly what you would see on a correctly proportioned simulation. Whereas on the left, you're fucking like King Kong being lifted up in a helicopter. No, like bigger than fucking King Kong. You're like goddamn Godzilla or some shit being lifted up on a helicopter off of the fucking Earth. So, I don't want to hear this shit about how the curved pane of the glass gives the curvature to the Earth. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. To say that the curved glass gives it the curve is just wanting it not to be true, but it actually being a curve. Now, in a commercial flight, you can only slightly detect a curve, but, I think that, like, the footage that you can get from high altitude, like balloons and whatnot, is a bit more convincing. Prince Thunderflare, do they think we live on King Kai's planet? I think that they do there, Prince Thunderflare. I think that's a very good observation. Could we be living on the King Kai planet? Is that where we're at? I mean, fuck it if we are.
On a ball, the horizon would drop from eye level as the plane rises, but that doesn't happen at all. Instead, the horizon always rises to eye level, which is impossible on a globe.
It's not impossible on a globe. The horizon is an imaginary line where the sky meets the ground, or the face of the Earth, basically. I mean, it's an imaginary line. You don't ever reach the horizon because the horizon is ever receding backwards because it's where the sky is perceived to meet the planet Earth. So, I mean, to say that it doesn't work on a globe Earth is to be very disingenuous about it. I mean, unless you're fucking, Godzilla that's grown like so large that you could actually, like, I guess, I don't know, if you hopped, you could knock the planet out of orbit.
And is only consistent with a flat plane. People sometimes...
It's not only consistent with a flat... Actually, with a flat plane, you would expect to be able to see off the edge of it, not just a horizon line. I mean, if you had a powerful enough telescope, you should be able to see the ice wall from anywhere on the fucking planet.
See a slight curve from the window and forget that they are looking out at a flat horizon. In the mid-1800s, a man named Leon Foucault began swinging pendulums with pins placed down and a ball and socket joint so it would swing in a circle. He claimed that instead of the pendulum moving, it was actually the Earth moving beneath it. However, this can easily be debunked because there is no way to start a pendulum in motion without giving it slight lateral bias. Some pendulums would swing too slow, some would swing too fast, some would swing in the opposite direction, and some wouldn't even swing at all. Although Foucault's pendulum doesn't prove anything, they are still being used across the world as proof of Earth's motion.
Yeah, that's because it is proof of Earth's motion, and for you to say that it's not proof of the Earth's motion is just disingenuous. I mean, you have either taken certain anecdotal stories and presented them as facts, or you've taken isolated incidences or an isolated incident, and you have blown it out of proportion. That's all that you have done here. The Foucault's pendulum, the way that it works, the physics of how it works, shows that the Earth is actually spinning. Oh, how do you explain north and south on a flat Earth? This is a good fucking question. I want to know, how do you explain it? My guess is that you're going to say that there's a magnetic something or another at the North Pole, and that is the reason why we have a magnetic field or a magnetic pull to the north.
On the flat Earth, north would be at the center of the Earth, and south would be anywhere extending away from north. A compass will always point north, no matter where you are on Earth. The North Pole would be just how the ancient cultures knew it, magnetic north. The ancients called it magnetic north.
Interestingly enough, magnetic north is always shifting. Because of how the core of the Earth is rotating and everything like that. It actually moves. Currently, I think it's, I don't know, I think it's like moving towards Greenland or something like that. But anyways, like magnetic north has always moved around, but also the poles have flipped in the past. And we know this because I'm actually working on a series where I'm debunking answers in Genesis, but the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is like a record for, you know, how our poles have reversed polarity. And so for him to say that that is magnetic north and that everything else is the south, you would have to also say that for whatever fucking reason, we don't know, and he probably doesn't even know, at some point in time in the past, those poles have flipped. Now, for whatever reason that he thinks that the magnetic north, like is magnetic for a reason, apparently that moves to the outer edge for whatever fucking reason. And you see, here's the thing about these flat earthers, is that they always know enough to say science is fucking stupid, but they never know enough to say, to actually explain why it's wrong. All they know is that it's wrong, and the way that they perceive it, subjectively perceive it, is the correct way. So I would say that the reversal of the polarity of the Earth is a really big indicator that this whole situation here is fucky beyond comparison.
Because they believed that towards the center of the flat plane, it acted like a magnet. This is why no matter where on our flat Earth, when you hold a compass, it will always point to north, which appears to act like a magnet, drawing you to that direction.
Why is it drawing it to that direction? Is there some kind of like giant mountain that's only made out of a magnetic material that just stays there and it's magnetic all the time? Is that what it is? What happens with when the polarity's reversed? What happens when, you know, north is actually towards the south end? Sorry, hold on a second. My camera's calculating me. That still cracks me up. Casey gave me $1.99. Love you. Thank you, Casey. I love you too. So I still don't understand the reversal of the poles.
If anything, north and south seems to make more sense on the flat Earth than the ball Earth.
No, it doesn't. When you consider how the poles work and how they shift and everything like that, you saying that this model is correct and the other model isn't only asks more questions that you need answers for. And we just don't simply see that. Anytime a flat earther comes to you with this kind of bullshit, you need to have 10 questions that their model doesn't answer lined up to ask them. And I can guarantee you that they will say, I don't know how it works. I just know that it does. And if somebody says that I don't know how it works and it just does and they can't explain to you why they're right, then more than likely they're wrong and they're just pulling shit out of the rectum. Meteors, comets, and craters. What about them, huh? Fucking Eric Dubay?
We are told that craters are holes in the Earth caused by the impact of a meteor that has crashed onto Earth. Although this is what we are told, it is far more likely that these craters or holes are caused by gas bubbles from below the surface.
Where's my "this shit is bananas" hat? I gotta get me a new hat that correctly identifies how fucky this is. There's gas bubbles underneath the Earth that popped like a fucking fart bubble? Is that what you're is there a little man at the center of the Earth that's farting and just causing all these goddamn craters everywhere? Is there a little tiny man in the moon that's causing all the craters from the fart bubbles? I need to know more about the fart bubble theory of the Earth and how these things are made. And apparently comets don't even fucking exist, regardless of the fact that you can see them in the night sky. What the fuck are you even talking about, Eric? You have no basis in reality for any of this shit. Prince Thunderflare, gas bubbles? I'm not drunk enough for this shit. I'm not drunk enough for this shit either. I mean, holy shit. Like, if you feed giant goddamn chicken wings that are coated in, like, 911 goddamn sauce to the little human being that's at the center of the fucking Earth, will he blow up, like, an entire continent? Like, could he fart a fart bubble so big that it gets rid of goddamn Russia? That would be awesome right now if we could feed that little fucker something that would cause him to fart up a storm and destroy Russia. It seems like a new weapon of mass destruction, if you ask me.
Or even a sinkhole. If craters were actually caused by a burning ball of rock from space, leaving that big of a depression, then the rock itself should still be there inside the crater.
Oh my god. Eric, do you realize the amount of force that a goddamn meteorite slams into the Earth with? I mean, holy fuck. I wouldn't expect the meteor to still be there. I would expect it to be pulverized. Not to mention the fact that in order to create a crater that big, you really don't need that big of a fucking thing. It's not like it's a planet fucking killer. So no, I wouldn't expect it to be there. But also, you can still find portions of the meteorite in the crater. It's just not in a nice big fucking ball. That's what I mean by I wouldn't expect it to still be there. I don't expect it to be in a perfect fucking ball like that. But we do have portions of it that still like hit the Earth and are intact. So I don't even know what the fuck you're saying. It's like you went to one of these craters, you looked around, and was like, nope, all these are rocks. These were here beforehand because of the gas fucking giant down underneath the crust that farted this particular crater out of his ass.
Not only that, but there should be pieces of the meteor scattered around from the impact.
There are fucking Eric, goddamn. There are goddamn pieces everywhere. You can go to these places and you can find it. You just gotta know what you're fucking looking for. The sound on par with that, Chrismer says this sounds on par with that dead giants theory.
Yet at all of these supposed meteor impact crater sites, there could be no trace whatsoever of any rock from space left in the hole.
That is just disingenuous as fuck. Of course there are remnants of them. They've always been found. That's actually how we know that the Earth is 4.54 billion years old. We found these meteorites that were comprised of a specific composition of metals and minerals and shit. And the actual like structure of them, like when you look at them, we find them like in desert scenarios and whatnot. We find them out there and we can test the materials there to see how old they are. And we come up with the 4.54 billion year old number. And so to say that they just don't exist anywhere on Earth is just disingenuous as fuck.
Meteors are just like moon rocks. NASA presents us rocks that they tell us are from outer space, and we believe that these are space rocks, only to find out later that we were lied to and that they are actually from Earth.
What? So, like, you're taking, like, one particular instance of somebody peddling, like, a moon rock or some shit as, like, being indicative of the entire fucking shit that has been brought back from not only the moon but has landed here, like without our hands in the mix of it. Like you're literally taking a few outliers and generalizing them as the entire fucking thing. That is so goddamn ridiculous that I don't know how to respond to it other than my rambling and stuttering right now, because it's so astoundingly stupid.
Comets are shooting stars, which are not terra firma rocks, but rather lights that shoot across the sky.
Are you fucking serious at this point, Eric? You say that the shooting stars are literally beams of light that are shooting across the sky, and it is in no way meteorites that are glancing off of the atmosphere of the Earth and burning up in the atmosphere. Are you fucking serious right now? This is so ridiculous. You have no evidence to say that they are just fucking beams of light. Fenrir, the God Eater. No, GE, the Earth has a gluten intolerance. So you just gotta feed fucking bread into this little baby that sits underneath the goddamn Earth, farting out fart bubbles and creating all of these little craters and shit. Just feed that little fucker that shit. We'll kill him off one day.
Many meteors, such as the one in Russia that broke school windows, don't appear to be normal rocks falling from the sky. It seems more possible that these meteors are just military objects that are being shot from airplanes at an angle to have us keep believing in meteors.
The fuck are you talking about? You seriously think that they can drop a meteorite and have it hit as hard as meteorite hits, as hard as a meteorite can hit, like from a goddamn plane? You think they literally just up there like, oh, is the meteorite scheduled for today? Yes, the meteorite is scheduled. All right, we'll drop that shit right now. And then they just drop it. I mean, there's no way that those things can hit the Earth with as much force as they do from just wherever an airplane is flying at. And also, it begs the question of, why would we want to keep up this facade? Why on earth would the governments want to keep up the facade of like meteorites hitting the Earth? Why would they want to do that? Why would Russia knowingly destroy shit that they're just going to have to repair fucking later? There are no answers to these questions.
These meteors appear to always be shot at an angle downward.
They always land at an angle downward because of how they enter the goddamn atmosphere. Like, this fucking guy.
If they really were rocks from space, then they should be hurtling down at all sorts of different angles, and not the same one every time.
You ever think that maybe the meteorites that go directly head-on into the Earth are the ones that break up in the atmosphere and are the shooting stars or whatnot, and are not actually the ones that make it to the Earth? But even regardless of that, like at any certain point, like whoever is unlucky enough to be standing right where that fucker is going to land, it looks like it's coming headfirst into the Earth. It's not like it literally rains down hellfire, you know, from wherever. How these objects move in space are what determine how it hits the Earth. Oh, now we're getting into the dome. Holy fuck. Oh, just you got to get the scratch up. I'm getting my fix tonight. Prince Thunderflare, filthy heathen. Obviously, all government resources are dedicated to hiding the shape of the earth. Wake up, shape-o! One Lane Bagwell, a globe a day keeps the flatties away. Keep up the good work, you filthy heretic.
No one is entirely certain if there is a dome or firmament above us. What we do know is that many ancient cultures portrayed a dome above a flat geocentric Earth, and even the Bible speaks of a vaulted dome or firmament.
You know, I've noticed this a lot right here, is the fact that flat earthers place a preponderance of weight, like truth weight, on older information rather than the newer information that is actually informed by new methods or other new information. They seem to always place a heavy amount of trust in these older texts. Of course, you know, these older people are going to look up into the heavens and see this dome over us and want to convey that to people in a way. Of course, people thought that there was a dome over the earth. Obviously, they did. At one point in time, everybody thought that the earth was flat until we proved that it wasn't. So, there's no need in placing that much trust in these older civilizations rather than in actual scientific evidence to the contrary. See, that's the thing, is that you have this newer evidence that contradicts the old evidence, and so you replace it with new information. What is that called again when you forsake new information for old information? Is that like cognitive dissonance or something? I believe that this is evidence of cognitive dissonance here.
There were military operations conducted in the mid-1950s, such as Operation Fishbowl, where the military shot rockets up in the sky and they exploded as if hitting a dome.
All right, so military testing of bombs and stuff have occurred, you know, throughout the history of war. As far as like bombs have gone. So, I mean, it's no surprise to me that they might have been shooting, you know, rockets up into the air or whatnot, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was hitting a dome. Like, for instance, we have the Patriot missile system here in America, and the Patriot missile system is literally a missile system that is geared to take out rockets as they are in mid-air. So, you know, I'm not saying that that was being developed around the 50s, but it's not unheard of for them to be testing rockets or whatever the fuck. That doesn't necessarily mean that it was hitting a dome. In fact, we know that it's not hitting a dome because like 19 years later, we landed on the fucking moon.
Although this is compelling, it is foolish to accept the existence of a dome based off belief without evidence. So for now, the idea and existence of a dome.
Oh, sorry. Cognitive dissonance was when you believe in two contradictory things. Sorry. What is confirmation bias? Sorry. I've had I've had way too much. Oh, apparently Red's rhetoric is in the house. Hey, one day. Hey there, Reds. How you doing? I'm sure I'm fucking all of this shit up. But okay, so yeah, is it confirmation bias that I was talking about? When you forsake new information for the old information, yeah, I believe that would be confirmation bias.
Remains unknown.
Is it only for religious people? Of course not. Oh, that would be awesome, Reds. Of course I'd love to collab with you. I mean, I'm sure I can learn a lot from you because I'm amateurish at this whole flat earth shit.
No, flat earth is for every human. Even though there are many religious people in the flat earth movement, flat earth itself is just the shape of the earth.
I don't get how he can show fucking videos like this that have a slight curve in it and everything like that, and like not fucking get it. Like I have no idea. I have no idea how he can look at this kind of shit and be like, "Yep, fucking flat."
And has nothing to do with religion. Based on the evidence surrounding it, any human can become a flat earther and awaken to one of humanity's greatest lies.
Did the Bible say the earth is flat? Okay, so being that I know the Bible pretty well, I would say that there are multiple passages in the Bible that can be interpreted as it being a flat earth. Especially in the New Testament, you have portions of it where like Jesus is taken upon a high mountain where you can see all of the earth. But even then, I mean, when that was written, I mean, I think that was more metaphorical. But I mean, in the Old Testament, you definitely have certain things that can be interpreted like as it being a flat earth. And I think that it was probably intended to mean kind of a flat earth because at the time that the Bible was written, it was kind of like in transition between that old way of thinking and the new way of thinking of it being a spherical earth. So I would say that the Bible in the Old Testament does, but in the New Testament, it doesn't really touch on it really. I mean, it kind of alludes to it with the metaphors and whatnot, but I don't think that they really address it in the New Testament. So I'd say the Old Testament definitely.
The Bible does give what appears to be a flat-like motionless earth, but it does not bluntly state that the earth is flat. Not only does the Bible mention a dome, but it also speaks of the earth being on pillars, the sun and moon both being luminous bodies, and speaks of Eden as a paradise with 4 rivers flowing out of it, just like the Mercator projection with 4 rivers flowing from the north.
Still, what he's saying is that this old information that we have written down in a book by these more ignorant people than we are is more reliable than the information that we have now that contradicts it. You see this in creationism a lot and a lot of these other anti-science things. You see people that put a heavy weight on these older bits of knowledge that are not founded in science.
The Bible was written before the heliocentric model was ever thought of, so why wouldn't it show a flat stationary earth?
Let's see what we got. The earth is a circle, Isaiah 40:22, made with a compass, Proverbs, laid upon a face, Genesis, it is bound, Job, at its ends, Job, it does not move, is that Psalms maybe? I think that's Psalms, is covered by a dome, Genesis, containing the sun, moon, and stars, Genesis, which are circulating, Enoch. So I know genetically modified skeptic in the comments there said genetically modified skeptic said Job is purely poetical, but obviously they're pulling from these other books, which I don't know. You could argue that they were being metaphorical or whatever, but whatever. Reds in the comments says, why go to the Bible when you can pick up a modern science textbook? You know, obviously, Reds, it's because the fucking, rabbis and shit knew more about physics, astrophysics, and the shape of the earth than even we fucking do. They got all the answers and they wrote it down in a book, the only true book. Well, I mean, also the Quran kind of has a lot of verses in it that say that the earth is flat too. But hey, what the fuck? What about the Flat Earth Society? Let me guess. They're either controlled opposition or, I don't know, the first ones to speak the truth.
The Flat Earth Society is controlled opposition. The concept behind controlled opposition is, as Vladimir Lenin once said, the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves, meaning that the state, government, or secret society.
I will never get over that picture of fucking Alex Jones right there as the Joker. God damn.
Societies control the leaders of the opposition against them, such as the Flat Earth Society. In other words, the Flat Earth Society says ridiculous things that will most likely steer people away and turn people off from the flat earth topic and dismiss
I just have to take a second and really just enjoy it. How even the flat earthers are like infighting and eating their own in this. I mean, to hear a flat earther be like, they're too crazy, and that's how you know they're false. Meanwhile, there are gas fart bubbles coming up from the center of the earth to create craters on the face of the earth. That's legit. Like, you cannot seriously in the same breath say those two things and expect me to take you seriously.
it as ridiculous. For example, the Flat Earth Society says that gravity is not density and buoyancy like we clearly see, but instead, the Earth is rising upward at 1g to account for gravity and why objects fall.
It's really funny because you have a lot of flat earthers that will say that Eric Dubay is controlled opposition and that he is actually the one spreading this lunacy. And then you got Eric Dubay that's saying the Flat Earth Society, who is also shit on by the other group of flat earthers for being controlled opposition. So it's like a Mexican standoff with the flat earthers because each one is pointing their fingers at the other one saying controlled opposition. Prince Thunderflare. So Eric Dubay is the only person with agency, I guess. Reds said, Godless, I will give you $50 if you can pray something into space. I don't think that I could pray something into space, but that would be awesome if I could win $50 by praying something into space. Like, what's the spaceship run on? Oh, you know, prayers and shit. How long you been fueling up? Oh, about 50 years now. It's still sitting right there on E, but we're going to get it up there someday soon. We just got to keep these prayer drives up.
Person who hears this immediately thinks it is ridiculous and is turned off, which is exactly what the Flat Earth Society was designed to do. Their theory clearly doesn't make sense, because why wouldn't the sun and moon crash into the Earth? And how would there be a flat disk rising upwards in space?
That's actually a very good question, because a lot of flat earthers will shit on a heliocentric model because we have us that are hurtling through the universe at a certain amount of speed or whatnot. But meanwhile, Eric is over here like, yep, we're just going up at the force of 1g, even though technically the force of gravity, like the acceleration and whatnot, it actually varies throughout the Earth because the Earth is not like solidly dense, like the same amount of density throughout it. It actually changes in density, and so therefore there are minute changes in the force of gravity at any point on Earth. So it's actually very odd that he says, oh, it's always a constant 1g, when that 1g isn't even all that constant throughout the entire thing. Lemon juice eye drops. So is acne just a fart you hold in too long in class? No. In this particular context, that would be mountains. Mountains are actually zits, and when a volcano explodes, that's when the Earth pops its zit. So right now in Hawaii, Hawaii is just a big zit over here on the Earth, and the Earth went, I'm gonna get that motherfucker, and then that's what caused the that's how volcanoes are done. They're just big old zits on the Earth. Take that to the bank. You don't even double check me.
This controlled opposition meant to turn you off from Flat Earth. That's it.
Yes, who is behind this deception? I gotta fucking know. Fucking Freemasonry. I fucking knew it. It's the goddamn Illuminati fucking people. Hold on. Don't listen to Eric fucking Dubay right here. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Obviously, we are not controlling whether or not this is, being pushed anywhere. We do not have any association with Eric Dubay. He's not a shill for us. Thank you.
Is the world's largest and oldest secret society, ranging up to 5 million members across the plane. NASA is full of Freemasons and run by them, and most of the heliocentric sciences throughout history were
Let's see, Drew's book reviews. If you use the Bible as a source for your flat earth claim, you can't expect much of an intelligent argument. Also obligatory. Go Jets, go! Go Jets, go!
Freemasons, such as Newton, Galileo, Copernicus, and even Pythagoras was touted as one of the first Freemasons.
Of course, everybody that contradicts you is a Freemason and doesn't deserve to be taken seriously. I got it. Luckily, though, I don't fucking take you seriously at fucking all.
The Jesuits and the Vatican own and fund almost every major telescope in the world, including one they call Lucifer.
What? I mean, if somebody actually called a telescope that's pretty fucking sweet.
The Jesuits are also known to be connected or even possibly created by Judaism, and Zionist Jews have control over banks, industries, and corporations.
Ragnarok 2KX said, "The Illuminati." Well, the Illuminati is not part of this stream. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I also like his blatant anti-Semitism. Now, I might make a few oven jokes every once in a while, but I'm not sitting over here being like the Jews are running all the media, the government, and even they even have their hands in the spherical earth shit. Like, that's just ridiculous to say that the Jews are behind it.
Even Freemasonry, the secret society pushing this deception, is shown to have been created by Judaism.
I know, somebody pointed out that Fox Business was labeled as a Jew, a fucking Jewish news network. That, you know, that's hilarious. We all know that they're up the asses of Christians.
If you want to control someone, then the best thing to lie to them about is the very world they live upon. The world is run by psychopaths who want to keep us enslaved and lie to us. They tell us that we are just one out of a septillion other planets in space. They want us to think that we are meaningless and that we evolved from monkeys and that our lives have no purpose at all.
See, the ironic thing here is that not, there are even Christians that believe in all of that and they don't find their life meaningless. Although I will say that it seems to be contradictory to the whole idea that it's a personal God and a personal world that was created for them or whatnot, or they were put here on, when you have 99.9% of the universe is, you know, what we know has no other life in it. Although more than likely there is life in it. But I find it ironic how he paints it as this like a horrible kind of mindset to know that we're just a minute speck in the midst of like septillion or whatever fucking large number of planets. Like that does not make my life meaningless. I give my own life meaning, and I find meaning in a lot of different things. Like one of the things is my son. I find meaning with KC. I find a lot of meaning in things just because I accept evolution and fucking reality as we know it does not mean that I find my life meaningless. And anybody that watches this should not think, oh, I've got to be specially created and the earth has got to be flat and all this other shit has to be real in order for my life to have meaning. Red said, so Eric is wrong about evolution as well, correct? Color me shocked. I'm guessing that color is a Jewy color.
They don't want us to know about our true origins, about where we live, about our creator, such as God, or even about our lives having meaning.
I still don't see a reason why any of this needs to be done. There's no reason for people to lie about the spherical earth.
They have made themselves as the highest authority and the keepers of the scientific knowledge, and we all work as their slaves from 9 to 5 every day, absorbing their lies as if it's truth. They have replaced our divine origins with the cosmic coincidence known as the Big Bang, and hide from us our true spiritual power and place on this intelligently designed flat earth.
all scientists, pilots, engineers, and members of the government in on the lie? That's a good question.
No. Scientists, pilots, engineers, and even some members in the government in lower positions are not even aware of this massive deception. All these people went through the same garbage schoolbook lies and indoctrination that the rest of us did. The only people who are aware of this lie and pushing it are the ones ruling our world, whoever they may truly be. For example,
the Illuminati! Oh, shit. The Illuminati! We are not controlling the world. Fuck this guy. Yeah, I like how he leaves it open to like, oh, nobody knows that this is that this is the way. It's just this elite group of people that we can't know exists, that we would never be able to know exists, thereby placing it out of the realm of like actually being able to be known. Like that's ridiculous.
if Earth were truly a spinning ball, then why would the United Nations use a flat Earth map as their logo? Obviously, the true powers know something that we don't, and the rest of us are left here to discover it on our own.
Okay, so this is the part where he's pretty much sucking his friend's dick. They've got like a lot of different, all those guys, apparently a teenager. That doesn't surprise me. Goddamn millennials and shit. Mark Sargent, fuck that guy. Which I wonder how many of these people actually don't like Eric Dubay now because he's a fucking shit person. Why does it matter if the Earth is flat? It really doesn't, but let's see what he says.
If the Earth is flat, then that means...
I didn't read your last... I thought I did. Oh. Prince Thunderflare. Sorry, I didn't notice it. Prince Thunderflare says Jews are liars. Cites a book written by Jews. That's a good point there, Prince Thunderflare. I mean, yeah, he does say that. And definitely, if I miss a super chat, it's not on purpose. You just let me know, and I've kind of got my eye a little bit on the chat, but I try to get all of them.
we are created by intelligent design and are not just advanced monkeys on a spinning ball going nowhere, but instead, our lives have a purpose and meaning. Humanity knowing its true origins and potential will cause an awakening, which will destroy all the other lies we have been told.
So, let me get this straight. Eric Dubay, he thinks that knowing that the Earth is flat is going to destroy all of the other lies we've been fed. Seriously. Oh, fuck. Like, I had no idea that is why, like, this is so important to at least Eric Dubay flat earthers. Like, I mean, that's crazy to think about. Like, I can't think of one scientific fact that would, like, destroy all of the other lies out there. Like, that's a really grandiose, like goal to have for the flat earth theory right there.
It isn't about the actual shape of the Earth that is the true matter. It's about the lie. The very fact that the psychopaths running our world...
The fucking curve is in that particular photo right there. I mean, it's a slight curve. It's not a big curve, it's a slight curve, but they're still there.
Would lie about the place beneath our feet shows the importance of knowing about the true shape of the Earth. The globe Earth model opened doors to many Freemasonic deceptions, such as Darwinian evolution and alien space invaders.
Yeah, because alien space invaders, that's not believable. But yet, the thing below the Earth that farts out craters, that is definitely believable.
The flat Earth truth is one of the most important truths we can know, and it will bring down the system.
Again, a fucking curve in the video, but yet he's like, that curve doesn't exist. Motherfucker, what is that?
System that has enslaved us and free humanity from the greatest of all deceptions.
Okay, and that's all. That's all that he's got. Oh man. Well, I appreciate everybody joining me tonight, especially we got Red's Rhetoric and Genetically Modified Skeptic in the house in the comment section there. Prince Thunderflare, I hope you forgive me for missing that one. I try not to let that happen again. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section right now, either after this post or right now in the live chat. I would love to answer a few of your questions. I've got a little bit of time where I can answer them, so let's get to it. Let's see. Then again, what does the Earth look like now? An infinite plane of ocean and land. Godless engineer. I would say that the Earth looks like a oblate spheroid that is not an infinite plane of land or whatever. Liquor fan, the Earth is flat, hollow, and ruled by Jewish reptilian Freemasons. All hail our reptilian Jewish overlords! Where's the dome, though? He came to the conclusion that there's not enough evidence to support the idea of a dome, but that apparently the military shot missiles and hit the dome, but yet there's not enough evidence for a dome. I don't know. Let's see. Are you planning to do a video on the responses you got to your questions to Christian's video? Well, I know that there was a few that were posted, and I know that we did a live stream with a few of them, but I haven't seen like others. See you later there, Backyard Astronomy. Thank you for the kind words about the stream. Let's see. Deep State Raccoon, do you think Eric drinks pee like Dave does? Eric seems like the kind of guy that would definitely drink his own piss in the morning and then take a little short bath in his own piss. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy. I mean, he thinks that like fart bubbles create craters on the face of the earth and I guess maybe on the moon. I don't understand that. Just like I don't understand fucking drinking your own piss. Eric is a dumb cunt. Probably got it from his dumb cunt dad. Thanks, Hazel. Let's see. How do you handle all these videos without face palming all the way through your head? Well, I mean, as a content creator, I try to look for, the videos that I have the most to say about. And so when I see a video like this, I really just see it as like a gold mine of stuff, because then it's a chance for me to learn some shit and it's a chance for me to impart some knowledge on you guys. And I try to do my best to be correct about it, but I know that I fuck up sometimes. But that's why it's a learning experience for both of us. If you have some knowledge to impart on me, leave it in the comments. GE is a masochistic. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be true. I am a bit masochistic because I like to watch the shit. But what keeps the dirt on the flip side of the flat Earth? I don't know. I'm guessing that there's super glue that keeps it there. Maybe the baby that lives at the center of the earth that keeps farting shit out, maybe it played with its shit and the underside of the earth is actually baby shit from the baby that lives at the center of the earth that keeps farting up craters on the earth. Maybe that's it. That could be it. Maybe the baby's dormant and that's just why we don't have more down there. Godless engineer, that irony hurts so. It's the Eternals, GE. Is it Yanny or Laurel? Well, I heard Yanny. I know that the original recording was Laurel, but it's just the way that our brain interprets the sounds and the way that our ears are constructed, individually constructed and whatnot. That's why it sounds different to different people. Genetically Modified Skeptic. My latest vid was a lot like your stuff, GE. People loved it. So you want to teach me to stream like a pro? We might have to wreck some anti-vaxxers together. That sounds like an awesome fucking idea there, GMS. I mean, I would love to go through those anti-vaxxer posts because I swear to Christ, I thought that you were going to say shove apricot seeds up your ass to cure cancer today. Like, I really thought that you were going to go there, but you went the more sensible route with it. I would have been like, kids, don't shove apricot seeds up your ass in order to cure cancer. That doesn't actually cure cancer. like the people were saying, like, shove all these things and enemas up your ass and shit. And it's like, no, please don't shove coffee up your son's ass. That's not going to cure anything. I mean, there are literal teenagers now that try to drink coffee through their ass. So it doesn't surprise me that people would go that route with it. Prince Thunderflare, Godless Engineer, where would be a good place to get my questions about evolution answered? There's a lot about it I don't understand. Well, I don't know one single good source. Um, I mean, looking on YouTube for like Discovery Channel videos or whatnot about evolution would be good. There's a Stated Clearly channel that if you guys haven't been to it, definitely go to it and check it out. It's called Stated Clearly, and they cover a lot of information about evolution. There's also Jackson Wheat here on YouTube. You can go there, and he covers a lot of information about it. You can just type in Jackson Wheat and he'll probably come up first. But Aaron Ra, a lot of people are saying Aaron Ra. That is a really good resource too. He's got a really great series on evolution. Talk Origins is also a very good website that you could go to. Mystic Rider, did GE really say that the moon is closer to the sun than the Earth is? Lol. Lay off the sauce when you do these vids, man. Well, the moon, okay, so it's not always closer to the sun than the Earth is. I mean, obviously, it's only when the moon is, in front of the Earth, or like between the Earth and the sun. Like in those particular instances, it is. But it's not always like that. I'm just saying that in those situations it is. Obviously, the moon orbits around the Earth, and so it's not always closer to the sun. That's not what I meant, but I get how that was a little bit mistaken there, or I was a little bit mistaken. I just misspoke on that one particular thing. But I mean, for the way that the sun was hitting them, if they were in front of the Earth when it was doing that, like as far as orientation towards the sun, they would have been closer. GE, can you put a link to your merch in the description? I can later, but I'll go ahead and put it in the thing right now. Hold on. There you go. Penguins with railguns. Yeah, sorry. When doing these live streams, I misspeak on occasion, and I apologize for that. More sauce, GE. Hi, Team Skeptic. Love your vids. Eric Dubay is an idiot. Yeah. The moon is an egg full of penguins, space penguins. The guard is on the ice wall. Thanks to GE, I don't have to go to church to learn about the Bible, but it's not like they talk about any good at church anyways. That's true, and you won't find any actual criticism of the Bible at church either, which, I mean, they're not really geared to do that. Godless Engineer, what do you think of the moon is an egg full of space penguins with railguns that are sent to the Earth to guard the ice wall? Very plausible. About as plausible as the fart bubbles that create craters. I always thought Aaron Ra was batshit insane. Aaron Ra has got a really good channel. I mean, he does a lot of great work with evolution and debunking a lot of religious claims. Is God circumcised? That would be interesting to try to check out. Mystic Rider, I love you, GE. Just poking at you, man. Oh, I understand. Look, I fuck up all the time on these streams. And so, like, small things like that, I always let go. And so I need you guys to correct me whenever I fuck up. Let's see, Raster. Hey, GE, would you be a good what would be a good argument for the conception of the Bible? My boss constantly says the Bible was written by God using man as a pencil, despite us being flawed. Well, for the Bible, I mean, the Bible is made up of the Old Testament and the New Testament. So, I mean, you already had the Old Testament that was written by men, and that was written in a more documentary style, at least the first 5 books of it, and then of course the others were added later. And then so for the New Testament, what you have, what I would say at least, is that there were several sects of Jewish Christians in the first century that had different ideas about what the Messiah was to be. And so what they did was they wrote all these down in these Gospels. And then they later on they were put together by other people. But there were different sects of Jewish Christians that had these different ideas about what the Messiah was and what he did do and everything like that. Obviously, the first one was Paul that had his shit written down in the 50s. And but there were a multitude of different ones at the time, because even Paul says that there are false teachers among them. So yeah, I don't know if that really answered your question, but that's how I would answer it. But then again, I'm really big into history and whatnot. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed it. I'm a little bit past my time, but I hope you guys will leave a comment after this posts. Let me know what your favorite part of this entire thing was. Me personally, I love the goddamn farts make craters. Like, that caught me so off guard. I love it. I love that particular theory. Or not theory, but that little anecdotal thing. Love it. I'm gonna run with it. Red's Rhetoric, Godless, love your shit. Thanks, man. I love your shit. I have watched so many of your debates in order to really get a good grasp on this stuff. So, anyways, I'll see you heathens later. Y'all take care. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice, and I will see you guys later.